Okay, I see what you got going on there.
You do?
Salt and pepper facts. All right, let's see.
All right, guys, we're live here at edgestudiosonline.com. I'm sitting back with, wow, an old partner in crime, joining me for the Edge of Insanity. He's just shaking his head going, I can't believe I'm flipping doing this. Give it up for Travis Curry, everybody. Woo!
Hey guys, yeah, all of you out there listening. I just can't believe that your voice is in stereo in my head again.
Oh, I know. It's not a nightmare either.
No, but people shouldn't have to go through that too many times in their life.
You would think not.
Yeah.
So
But no, it was fun doing. We go way back. It was fun doing the Edge and FCC Free Radio and all the comedies. How many years ago was that?
So that has to go back. Well, I started originally in '08 on 5th in Clara. I think we got together in '09 because I had that psycho host that tried to sue me and the old proprietor of this radio station,
Yeah.
which we'll rename Nameless so I don't get sued by him.
Yeah, well, he was cantankerous. I had never had a problem with the guy, but you know, you guys, white people like to fight. So.
Oh, that's. I guess it's in our blood. I don't know.
Y'all gonna find something to fight over for sure.
So,
but that was a good time.
It was because
yeah,
we had a lot of different things that we did, right?
Yeah, I mean, with the comedy at Larkin Street and going down and doing where else were we at the Wharf?
Yeah. What was the parlor?
Yeah.
It was called something after that. It was like Alcatraz or the Island or the Rock.
Started off with the green room down there where I was hosting for a while. Then we moved on to the corner spot down there at the Wharf. I can't remember the name of it. I smoke a lot of weed. For all you people out there who's wondering, you're gonna hear me say I cannot remember a lot of shit simply because I cannot.
It's a disclaimer. It's a disclaimer that you have to work with. So, yeah, you did a lot. And so I want to say the one was called The Rock or Alcatraz, but you're right. It was in the same room, which was originally the green room. You called it the green room.
No, it was the green room, but then the green room closed because the owner caught the husband sleeping with all the hostesses. So she shut all that shit down.
Oh, yeah, she did.
They went to comedy club. The shit wasn't funny anymore. And he was fucking anything that would move. So that's how the green room met its demise, through Dick.
All right.
Yeah, Dick get him in.
The last time we actually hung out there, we what's the name of the little Irish bar that?
Oh, that was Fiddler's Green.
Fiddler's Green. We would sit there and drink a beer or so, and then it burned down.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I used to bounce there. I had a lot of good friends. My ex-girlfriend used to work there. A good friend of mine, Grant. A good friend of mine, Chris. We call him Fizzle. We met them. Erica. A lot of Natalie. You know, it was a lot of. They're all Irish, but it was just a lot of good times. You know, and it was a shame to see the damn thing burn.
Right, and then they brought it back, and it's yuppie.
I ride my bike around the Wharf, and I just don't take that street for some reason. The way that I go down the Wharf makes me take a left bound by the hotel,
right,
and then take a right going on down the Wharf. I think it's Jefferson, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't ride by it anymore. Plus, I think subconsciously I don't want to ride by it.
You're afraid?
Well, no, I'm not afraid, but it just makes your mind immediately download all these memories, you know.
And some of them are good, and some of them are bittersweet.
Oh, when you're bouncing with when you're sitting there on a Saturday night and you're the only bouncer and there's like 450 drunk white people around you and you're in control, you don't want to keep thinking about that over and over again in your life.
Right.
Because there were some tough times, you know. I mean, I never went home with a scratch, and because I used my mind over brawn, but. Anyway, it's a shame it caught fire.
So there's that, and then we have that history where we were at the other place. We did the show together for years.
At 800 Larkin.
Yeah, and we also did 800 Larkin, which was an awesome
I loved
venue
800 Larkin.
Until they boarded it up just recently, right?
Well, I don't know what Martina's doing. That was the owner at the time, and she's also Irish, so you start to see this vein running through these stories, but... Irish people, white people, drunk, white, you know, funny shit. But 800 Larkin was fun to do comedy in.
It was.
It was. I mean, at all those pop-up comedy places that was going on back then and still going on now, I found 800 Larkin to be entertaining, even to host it.
Right, because that was a room, it was kind of what we used to, or at least I dubbed, the obstacle course of comedy.
I remember what we used to say, if you can do comedy here, you can do comedy anywhere.
You could, because we were literally at the corner of Larkin and O'Farrell.
Oh, we were in the hood.
So part of my line was, where else can a single dad get some stage time, park his kids outside, leave enough room for the window so they could feed the meter. They could go to the park. They could get themselves a slice of pizza. They can go get them a sack over at the other, or they can get daddy can get a lap dance.
There was a strip club right next door.
And it was all within eyeshot.
I have some great stories from that strip club.
Do you?
Oh, God.
Because you had lots of do you still have friends in that?
Well, no, I don't. But at the time, I mean, this is, like, what's the Charlie Murphy and Eddie Murphy stories when Rick James says cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Right. It's like one of those things.
No, it's one of those things, not like one of those things. So during that time, when I was abusing this crap, which I'd never touch again, and I highly recommend you don't do coke. It's a waste of time, but it's fun as fuck.
That's right. Our sponsor today is fentanyl. No,
I lost the son to fentanyl, so don't do that.
Don't go that.
Definitely don't do fentanyl.
Yeah,
Let that shit go. But
and it's killing them out there.
Oh, it's a tragedy, and I don't know how they can throw so many people. Not to get off track, I don't know how they can throw so many people in jail for drug possession and selling this shit when we have a DEA that can't keep the shit out. I say every time they arrest somebody on the corner with that shit, somebody in the DEA should lose their fucking job.
Right, because they're not prosecuting this shit at all.
They're not stopping it. I mean, what are we paying you for? Once they start killing our kids, then you say, okay, it's a problem, we'll look into it. Aren't you guys supposed to be above the ball, not just on the ball?
Right, and I noticed that San Francisco, it's kind of business as usual because you can have almost any amount on you, and it's for personal use, and they're just going to take it, if they even take it. Most of the time, they're just going to let you go because they don't want to deal with paperwork. They don't want to deal with somebody hurting them.
Well, it's been a change with the new DA. In all fairness, I can't recall her name because
the new one, because the other one got thrown out.
I don't know, but I've been watching her peripherally here, and she's been doing some good things. She's not letting them bounce right out of jail if they get caught selling. She's not arresting the users. In other words, she's putting forth some effort to try and curb the death that's happening in the streets of San Francisco. And it's funny you say that, the streets of San Francisco. It's funny I say that because I grew up listening to a show with Carl Malden, the streets of San Francisco.
And Michael Douglas.
And as a kid, I remember, looking, because I knew the city so well, to see if I could see a part where they were filming from, or had I been in that neighborhood yet.
Or was it always just the opening scene down by Fisherman's Wharf?
Oh, yeah, but everybody knew that.
Right.
That was, that was ubiquitous. You had to see.
You heard the theme song and you came running.
But it was a great show for the time, especially when you didn't know anything, when you were still unwoke.
And it's funny because the first person you mentioned from that show was Carl Malden, not Michael Douglas, because of probably the American Express commercials.
I don't know why. I mean, one white guy versus another to me is still a white guy. I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of another, right?
Maybe that's the name of your new podcast.
What? But anyway, yeah. But it was just continuing. It's a shame now, looking back on how I guess violated San Francisco was with the streets and what's going on now. Back then to now, it's just glaring that something has to be done. I mean, and not like arrest people and point the finger and say you're the bad guy, but we got to get people off the street.
Right. We have to get the drugs off the street.
We got to get the drugs off the street, and even where our studio is, you only have to look 2 feet and you see somebody who needs help.
Well, yeah. I mean, so last time I was in this studio creating under old management, I used to park in the alleyway, and the alleyway you would get out and you would have to worry about stepping in human feces. Still a problem, but it was all about watch out for the needles on the ground. Now there's less needles, but everybody's holding a piece of tinfoil.
Yeah, it's a shame, and there's no easy answer, because if there was an easy answer to the problem you're describing and we're talking about, somebody would have came up with it by now. And they just haven't, because it's not easy, because in the United States of America, you have the fucking right to do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, and like I said, here in San Francisco, for the most part, they won't even confiscate your stuff or give you a ticket, and it's...
Why? I mean, but if you think about it, why? I mean, think about it from the cop's perspective after a while. This is like your 451st one of these stops. And you've seen how 359 of them went.
Well, yeah, and even the people that are across the street in UN Plaza, the police officers that are stationed there.
Shit, the police officers who are stationed in Union Plaza should absolutely, positively invite these people to Thanksgiving because they know them so well.
Right.
So you're not gonna arrest your friend. You know their problems and that they're really not a bad person vis-a-vis. They just do this shit because they're hooked.
So I ended up doing a little, community outreach last week. I wish I could go, okay, let's go right to film. I performed I performed on the street in the middle of UN. Yeah, I should.
Why didn't you see? You're not prepared.
No, I'm just telling you. I actually went over to the Tenderloin Center right across the street at UN Plaza, and they were all lining up for lunch. And if you don't know what the Tenderloin Center is, it's where it's a safe use place to do drugs. So if you go down with your fentanyl, they have.
Agree with that or disagree with that?
I disagree on a lot of levels for that. Yeah. I don't think it's a good thing for them to give them a safe place to do it, but I'm glad that they have staff watching them. And
that's a tough nut.
It is, because you know they're going to be doing it anyway.
Amen.
And I'd rather have them fenced in.
Well, they're not so much fenced in. They have them so they can save their stupid lives.
Right. Well, because every one of those people, they're wearing Narcan around their neck.
They're wearing they got the needle ready to bring them back. And now listen, I ain't talking shit, but I am. I've done a lot of drugs.
Right.
I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you and pretend like I miss Mr. Polly Purebred.
Right.
Right. But how do you get past that limit where, okay, I don't give a fuck, give me a needle?
Well,
I mean, that's just a threshold where I'm like, you know what, Jim?
You just gone over that line. That's just a
you know what, Jim? I'm gonna have to let you go, bro.
Well, and so like we were talking about, now it's fentanyl, so people are smoking off tinfoil. So the new craze I notice is that they're taking syringes and breaking off the needle and pulling out the plunger and using the straw to suck it up.
But listen, I heard a story years ago about some guy going through his own shit trying to get high because he was so polluted in drugs. He figured if he smoked his own shit, he'd get high again. So once I heard that story, I knew there was no ends. That if you were going to get high, if you're willing to go and smoke your own shit at the chance that you can get a little I mean, he didn't even dry it out. He took it wet with a blowtorch.
At that point in time, don't you just have to say, put me into rehab?
No, it just gives a whole new meaning to smoking shit.
Smoking that shit again.
But once I heard that story, I knew. I was like, yeah, I guess it's individual in a way, because, I don't rock climb. And I won't jump out of
an airplane. You
but
won't go skiing?
I can ski.
Can you ski?
Yeah, I'm a snow crow.
Snow crow.
Yeah, that's what they call us.
We
know what you're calling us, niggas. We know you be there. Look at that snow. We know.
That
niggas.
Was not discussed at last week's meeting at all.
Listen, we ain't stupid, niggas. We know what y'all be calling us. All right. Yeah.
Snow
fuck you.
Crow.
Yeah, snow crow ass. I can fucking slalom, bitch. But it's an individual thing. I mean, some people are more extreme than others. So where you would stop and I would stop it way, way, way before smoking our own shit.
Right.
There's a motherfucker out there who's game.
Right.
I'll get a shot.
Well, it's kind of like even like when people are desperate. So you think about the stories you hear about guys that are in prison drinking Pruno.
That's smart. I mean, that's using your brain.
Right, and then at least it's not your shit.
Well, no, I said that's using your brain.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't no 7-Eleven. That ain't shit. You want to drink, you got to make it.
So now I was talking to somebody, and they thought, wow, fentanyl's getting really bad. They're out there, and they're smoking. Yeah, it's getting bad. And then they said, oh, well, if they get the wrong stuff, if they get the wrong crack or the wrong meth that's laced with it, and I go, you don't understand what our city is doing. San Francisco, they're not getting stuff that's laced with it. They're getting straight up fentanyl and smoking it.
Well, again, it's not an easy subject.
Oh, I know.
And nobody, I mean, I don't pretend to be an expert. But again, geology factors in. We're very close to Mexico.
Right.
So, I mean, there's going to be some spill-off.
Right.
As it moves its way north to Alaska.
What was your thing about, you used to have the joke about, the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I've got a better one for the Rio Grande.
What's that?
Don't you remember yours?
I told so many jokes.
Yeah, and so you had a thing, it was like, what happens, or what comes through the Rio Grande, nobody talks about, or something like that.
I remember that joke. Yeah. What
Yeah.
happened? Yeah, I remember that. I was making reference to that. Yeah, I mean, all this shit's pouring in here, and nobody's saying a goddamn thing about it.
Right.
So, obviously it doesn't stay there, but we're supposed to shut up about it. And, again, it's not an easy answer, because commerce has to work, and the borders have to be open, and goods have to travel to and fro. And these people who are drug traffickers, they spend 24/7 thinking about how to get in there. I hear Ace.
I know, I do too. I was like, that's some good microphones there, huh?
I hear Ace.
It's either a really badly soundproof room or a really loud
Ace
dog.
is pissed about something.
Yeah, he is.
And this is the cavernous halls here at Edge Studios, so it echoes.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like a ghost dog, didn't he?
He did, because he's out there in that concrete bunker.
Yeah, it's concrete down here in the basement, and it's also humid. Nigga, invest in some fans.
I know that fan's not gonna cut it.
Oh my God! At least, I mean, I feel like this reminds me of the time that I was out with like 4 fat women in a limo. The air conditioning just didn't do it, dude.
It just wasn't cutting it.
I had to open the roof, and then one of them got stuck in it. It was a bad night.
Oh man, I feel like I almost gotta bring him in.
No,
we're almost close anyway.
He's dude.
Yeah, but okay. So what else did we want to talk about? We talked about fentanyl.
Well, no, I'm like I said, I'm proud of you, Paul, for sticking with your guns and wanting to produce and run a studio and giving people an opportunity to come out and express themselves. I would have never participated in Edge of Insanity if it wasn't for you. It was nothing on my radar, and when you asked me to do it, and I know I was difficult to deal with because I'm difficult in general.
Wow, I can't believe we're getting this on tape, and I'm sitting down at the time.
But at the end of the day, I look back on all that with great fondness. It was one of the best times of my life. It was fun.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that, because I mean those are a lot of fond memories for me, and especially some of the rooms we produced together. I mean, from 800 Larkin to Nick's The Rouge, to Tommy T's.
We did a lot.
We did a lot of shit together.
We did a lot to get people up on fucking stage so they could tell their they're wonderful jokes.
Yeah. Hey, and some of them actually made some good out of it, and the other ones just disappeared and went into oblivion.
What was the young lady who used to stutter, who's now mayor? What was her name?
Oh, you mean Nina G?
I love Nina G. Nina G, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well.
She is doing well. She's was on the right track from, I think, day one.
Bentley?
Kasim is actually kicking butt.
I ran into him at Trader Schmo's.
Really? And did he have the full beard?
Oh yeah, he looked like a preacher's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love those guys.
Right.
It was good times. I can't remember any. I had one argument with one this is the nice Travis trying to come through. I had one argument with one guy who needed mental therapy. That's much better than saying retarded.
Yeah, you were so close to not saying that, so that was good.
Retarded fucker is so 70s. Yeah. But other than that, it was good times. I'd do it again. I don't know if I want to do it again, but I'd do it again.
Every time I would pick you up.
I guess that means I want to do it again if I say I do it again, right?
Yeah, kind of.
So I can't say I don't want to do it again after I say I do it again.
No.
That's a contradiction of terms.
It is kind of.
Yeah, okay, so
unless you're going out with the same girl again after you've broken up with her or divorced her.
And then you say I do it again.
And then you're like,
No. Well, no, because all women to me are a lease with an option to buy. And if I don't buy, I'm out the lease. That's it.
You can't afford another lease. All right, so, no, I appreciate that. And then I remember every time trying to get you to get to a show. So, like, I remember Mondays for 800 Larkin, or even for Nick's. Mm-hmm. I would come to your house, and it'd be like the next 2 hours I felt like I was trying to get you to the Greek.
Because
Couldn't get you out of the house.
I
I
would go, but it really wasn't like the end all be all for me because I knew I'd go. I knew I'd get on stage. I knew I'd make people laugh, and I knew at the end of the night I'm going to come back with still the same amount of money.
Right. If not a little bit less.
Like some less, because I'm buying my drink. So yeah, I can go out. I crack some niggas up and shit, and then we never got to the point when I started after we left to go back in the conversation. After I left the green room, that's the first time I held a show where I was charging money for myself.
Right.
And it did not work out well.
No. When you had a couple bucks in your pocket after making it?
Oh, man, it's the first time I think I've done a show in front of 4 people.
Really?
But I did the show. That's what you have to take out of this. That's the story you tell your grandkids. But you know what? I did the goddamn show.
And that's it. And so I remember my show that was like that. I performed in front of 2 other people. And it was Tony Sparks, because I gave him a ride.
I love Tony Sparks.
I gave him a ride, and it was Darian Black.
You know, Tony Sparks is a name in San Francisco, at least, that you just can't gloss over.
No.
Tony Sparks is, I think he gave himself diabetes getting motherfuckers on stage.
Because he's so damn sweet?
I know, because he's so damn fat. And he's sweet. But eating all that goddamn pub food and shit, he puffed up like a puffer fish.
Oh, my God.
But I think he lost an ankle. I ain't sure. But you got to love Tony Sparks.
Yeah.
You know, if Tony Sparks ever happens to hear this, which I have my doubts, right on, Tony, for keeping on, man. For keep standing up for the comics in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, you hosted the Brainwash on a Thursday night for like 17 years, I believe.
I thought he lived in the kitchen.
He had 1 foot in the kitchen.
But no, he used to take care of me. He used to buy me beers when I came down there. Whenever I wanted to go up, he put me up any place I wanted to go.
Right. He used to give us pretty much rock star status.
Yeah, I didn't have to show up for any signing lists.
Right.
I show up, he's like, "Hey, what's up, brother?"
And then you would be my calling card. So if I went with you,
I'd get in and go do some comedy down there. And again, good times.
Right.
You know what Tony was disappointed about when Robin Williams died is that Robin Williams never came down to see him at the
Rain.
Because he knew that he had knew about it, and he said one time that he was going to come and he didn't. Really? And so when Robin hung himself with his belt after giving away his watches, Tony didn't really have heavy feelings.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, "I don't know about him. He said he was going to come down."
Well, it was funny because we did that show at Tommy T's up there for a while.
I still have bar glasses that I stole from there.
I bet you do.
So
we did a show there, and
I had like 16.
And Stephen Pearl and Al Cleathan were trying to get Robin to come in, and they kept bugging him. "Oh, please come in, please come in. You know, we'll give you whatever." And I heard that there was a person at Tommy T's that almost got fired because literally Robin came in, had like an overcoat type thing and a hat on, and nobody knew it was him. And he's like, "Oh, I'm here to see so-and-so." Oh, it was actually the night after we performed. It was Bobcat was performing.
Right. Yeah,
and so he was there to see Bobcat, and he goes, "Oh, I'm here to," he goes, "Oh, do you have your ticket?" And he goes, "Oh, no, I should be on the list." And the guy goes, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." And he goes, "My name's Robin."
He didn't know it was Robin.
And he didn't know, and he sent him away.
Oh, my God. I mean, he probably was a young kid, so you know. Who knows?
But he was also when I the couple times that I had time with Robin, he was very quiet until the microphone was on him, and then he'd light up.
What was that Clement Street place, the Holy City Zoo?
Right.
Yeah, I made him laugh at the Holy City Zoo back in the day. I was just starting out doing comedy, and they had put me on stage, and I had heard that. I looked over, and he was in the doorway. He wasn't even all the way in the room. He was like right at the door. And, you know, it's a very small place if you remember. You know, it's a narrow bar, and then the stage like in a dog leg left next to the
between the bar and the bathroom.
Right, between the bar and the bathroom. Right. So yeah, exactly, between the bar and the bathroom. So when I was there, and I turned and I glanced, and I recognized him off the bat. This is fresh after his Mork and Mindy days, so I knew him. And I just kept on with my bit, and then I turned over and I looked, and he was laughing.
Well, there you go.
I don't even know what I said to this day. I mean, at the time I remember the joke because Robin Williams laughed at it. Then I met him again when I worked at The Good Guys.
Okay.
And he came in with his son at the time. And he went down to the electronics section and bought every video game we had. Every one for Sega Genesis. Him and his son, they
like every cartridge.
Every one we had in the case, he bought one of each of them. I'm like, must be nice.
I was gonna say sales commission.
no, I rung him up and everything, and I said I appreciate your work and all yada yada yada, and that was it. But and then at the comedy in the park.
Yeah, comedy day.
Comedy day. Yeah. Then again, we met him again there when we had him at the table, and I can't remember what we were talking about again, but I know we were having fun.
We were having fun, and he was really cool. And then what it took him to set down is that you and I'll just use his last name, or I'll just use his initials, JM. You and JM are chasing him and trying to get him to talk on air, and I had driven to the station to do the podcast.
No, see, JM is full of shit. I can tell you exactly what happened, all right? I don't remember what we talked about, but I remember how we got him. He went to the bathroom, and I followed him.
That's what I thought. Literally the porta potty.
He went to the porta potty, and while he was in there, I started talking to him through the door, and he started laughing. And then he came out. I'm like, we were FCC, we like to tag. And then when he said okay, then John came skimmying up like he had did it.
Yeah, it's funny thing is that was the year that all he really did is I came into the studio because you guys were still at the park. I had you on the phone. And all he said was, "Hey, how's it going?" And that was it. Or "Hey, FCC," and then that was it.
No, but then
and then it was another year that he actually sat down with us.
And we talked because I still have pictures of that.
Yeah, that was the year after because I think he remembered.
Yeah,
the year before.
But I chased him down.
Right. Okay.
You know me, I'm shy.
Well, it's funny because even we should talk about this part off camera. He's so delusional. He thought every year after that Robin Williams was concerned for him, so he would call him on his personal phone.
Are you talking about JM again?
Yeah.
Man, this dude rents a lot of space in your head.
Oh, yeah, he does. Can I lease it out?
You should send him some money, man, because damn.
I know. Well, no, it's all the therapy I've gone through.
Did you guys have a sexual encounter you want to get out or anything like that?
No, not at all. No. Should I point out where he touched me on the phone or what? What's going on?
The question is, did you like it?
No, I just thought it was kind of funny that's one of the things that he took away from his time. It's kind of like you saying that he called you every year to check on you.
I mean, not that he's my... Again, I got nothing bad to say about John Miller.
Oh, I know.
As far as John Miller and I have always been on good terms. We've never cursed at each other. We've never had an argument. I actually like John Miller. He's never given me any reason not to like him. All the crazy shit that I hear he does with you and other people, he's just simply never done with me.
Well, I hope it continues that way because it's funny when someone sits down and talks to me, it changes.
Well, I'm just saying.
I get you, and I'm not trying to get you here to talk shit.
I'm just repping me as I know me, and
that's good.
Me and the man has never had. We ain't fought over a crumb.
Well, that's good.
And if he came by today, I'd be genuinely happy to see him.
Hey, and I would be fine if I had that relationship with any and everybody I meet.
But yeah, like we started the show off with, you white people will find something to fight about.
Oh yeah. No, I get it. Well, that
and also you got to take John. You got to walk a mile in my shoes, so to speak. John, here you are trying to duplicate what John's doing, so of course he's going to take offense.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm trying to. I'm actually trying to improve upon every studio I've ever been in. If it's been in this one, if it's been in the one in the Mission, if it's been T Radio V, it doesn't matter.
I totally agree. I mean, if I wanted to open a Chinese laundry and there was one across the street, I'm still opening a Chinese laundry because you have the right to do that.
Right.
But I think that you might want to sign the divorce papers. Just let him go.
Let him go. He's gone. He's gone for he's gone from my space, just not my.
You can continue being you, and he can continue being him, and without any conflict.
Sure, as long as he doesn't come swerving in my lane, I'll be fine.
But he's going to. But again,
he's going to.
But I had a very wise man tell me. He said, Travis, either you're interested in something or you're not. He said, if you're not interested in it, why would you give it any thought? That was from my father. And I was like, and it kind of changed my life a little bit. I'm like, yeah, because we weren't around thinking that we're interested in a lot of things that ultimately you can really give a shit about. I don't think you give a hell about what this man is doing and saying ultimately.
No, I don't.
So it's time for him to get some eviction papers.
Right. So it's a waste of energy in space.
Yeah, and it's a waste of your time. I mean, you'd be spending time, giving Ace a bath.
Yeah. Well,
no, I mean, not that the dogs think. No, I'm just saying. I'm sure the dog would appreciate it.
We're going to take the dog out for a walk.
Yeah, I mean, anything's better than letting this guy run space in your head. All right, so where are we going? This is your show.
Right.
I'm here. It's about another 20 minutes before I have to leave and go start making football bets.
And we will probably leave a little bit.
Can we take a break?
We can. But I think we're going to probably we'll cut this short.
All right.
And then we can go. I'm going to go get medicated.
Well, I started the show medicated.
Well, yeah, you're one up on me.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I was getting myself into.
So, that's one thing. I appreciate you coming down here. This is definitely a safe, positive environment for people to express themselves freely.
Oh, yeah, and this is, what you guys don't know out there is I'm considering starting the podcast here at Edge Studios and bringing my own flair to the, what do you call the internet nowadays? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right.
It's just a tsunami of bullshit.
The internet is what TV used to be.
I mean, but it's amazing because, all these kids right now, like my son, your sons, your kids perhaps, they look at the internet as just there.
Right.
It's like gravity to them. It's just always been there. But I watched this monster be built.
Oh, yeah.
Which shocks the fuck out of me. How come I'm not a billionaire? Because I watched all this shit.
You saw it go down?
No, I just watched it all come into play from the early modems to the now to the Apple phones now, and then like the Apple watches, and I have one on, and now they can tell if you've been in a car crash. I mean, it's amazing.
Right.
But these kids today think like it's so antiquated. It's so what is it, basic? I don't know. What do they say now?
You hear that the watches are going off? They're having problems.
I heard it.
The crash collision thing, yeah. Because it's around amusement parks.
That makes sense. They're looking at force and G forces.
Yeah.
That's what it's measuring.
Right.
You've just been into like 10 times G force. That can't be natural.
And you're not responding within 30 seconds.
And pretty soon, technology will catch up with that glitch too, and they'll just turn it off when you walk into an amusement park.
Right. And
then you fly off the fucking roller coaster and die.
And then your family will sue Apple. Okay, gotcha.
Isn't that how the way thing works in life, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think you have a remedy, and then all of a sudden, okay, that remedy's not the best. It's like it always goes back to the Titanic. It can't sink.
Right. So, okay. So, this is a safe and positive place to express yourself. I hope to see you down here more. Boy, your phone's getting blown up.
That's my pharmacist.
That's your pharmacist. Oh my gosh! Did we put a disclaimer at the beginning of the segment? Don't even. What's your pharmacist's name? Pedro.
Well,
I don't know.
She's very particular. It must be approaching the top of the hour.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Jeez. Oh my gosh! So at least I know how your show's being sponsored. Okay, so
and sponsored you by Percocet.
Yeah. Jesus. All right, so this is a safe, positive place to express yourself. I hope to see you down here more often. Thank you for coming down.
Hey, I now and for always consider you a friend, Paul.
Well, there you go. Right on.
And I don't say that to a lot of white people.
No, I mean we've never fought over a crumb.
No, actually, if you
yes,
think
we
about
have.
It,
we have.
We've had a fight, but it was just through misunderstanding at the time. I didn't realize you guys had DM'd me for the Tommy T's thing. I'm
trying to remember that one.
Because, it was a time where I still wanted to get time at Tommy T's on Van Ness.
Uh-huh.
And you were in charge with Cleveland, with Al Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right? And then you guys had decided that we didn't need me as a host, and you guys both sent me a message through some platform at the time.
Probably Facebook.
Something. But me, as you know, not being a big platform guy, I'm more a face-to-face motherfucker, right? I didn't get this message till like a month after, but then that explained the month of cold shoulders I was getting because you guys had already told me, right? And then I figured that out on my own. I'm like, oh, that's why they weren't putting me up. It was nothing personal between you and I. You guys had just made a decision that you guys wanted to keep moving in this other direction, and you didn't need another host or...
Yeah, and I remember it was me, you, and Al doing it, and I don't remember why that split.
You two decided to just you two, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not a wet bitch.
And it was weird because with that room, I was booking everybody. Except for Al Clayton once in a while would pick something.
Which I thought you were just like, I'm like, we're friends and shit. Now you're not putting me up. So here I am there for like 2 weekends, 3 weekends.
And then I kept hosting, and so I wouldn't get a regular set in.
And then I finally got the DM, and I was like, oh. But then I was pissed off until that point. But then, you know, you got to give credit where credit's due. I'm like, oh, they did tell me. I just didn't get the message.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but that was the only time I've ever thought about stabbing you in the back of the neck.
There you go.
All right.
So.
But it's been fun, man. Thanks
absolutely. And I would say my tagline, but you'll accuse me of stealing it from you.
You stole "Keep Standing Up" from me.
Yeah, it's even on the back. It's even on the front of my shirt.
Yeah. Well, shit, you're gonna pay me some money for that. Yeah, this is Travis.
Hey, as soon as we start making money, you got it.
Yeah. It's been said.
There you go. So why don't you say it?
Hey, well, here from Ed Studios in the beautiful San Francisco, California. We're out of here, and everybody, remember, keep standing up.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time here, edstudiosonline.com. See ya.